How's it going, everybody? Welcome back to Talking Wolves. We're here for another match preview today. My name is Dave, and I am alongside Finners. Finn, how's it going, man?
I'm alright, thanks, mate. How are you?
Yeah, all good, all good. We've got our match preview for Wolves as they prepare to host Manchester United in the FA Cup quarter-final. That's right, Wolves are just one win away from Wembley and getting into the FA Cup semi-final. That sounds so surreal. It sounds crazy. But today, me and Finn are going to be previewing that tie, giving our thoughts on both Wolves and Manchester United and giving you some of the stats in the lead up to the game as well. But before we kick off, make sure you go and check out our brand new channel sponsors over at OneFootball. A link to their app is going to be at the top of the description. It's the number one football app out there at the moment for your latest football news and live scores. If you download the app, you get to pick Wolves as your favourite team, and you'll get all the news and squad information catered to Wolves. So it's a very good app, as I say, free to download on iOS and Android. And a link to that is in the top of the description. Can't get my words out today, Finn, but there we go. Wolves and Manchester United, Finn. Both teams been on fantastic form recently. I mean, we had the Chelsea preview last time out. We both went to Chelsea, didn't we? For you, do you think that was 2 points dropped or definitely a point gained at Stamford Bridge?
I think the raw emotion afterwards, obviously we bumped into each other afterwards, and that raw emotion of any last minute goal that takes away points, or I suppose it's the worst when it's like the 2 points dropped almost when it's a win to a draw more than like a last minute winner. You only lose a point then. So it was gutting, but then you look at the stats, maybe even on the OneFootball app, you look at them, and it was 2 shots to 22, and you go, okay, fair enough, we'll take it on the chin this one, because in a way, I didn't think it was very good defensive performance, but I don't know whether it was Chelsea purposely finding a way to not let us counter-attack, or whether it was just the passing I thought was a little bit sloppy, like getting the ball up to Jimenez and Jota. They were starved to service, but once they got it, I think they did very, very well. Those 1-2s were just gorgeous, especially for the goal. So I think we did the best with what we got. We were clinical for once. Obviously, that clinicalness was a real problem at the start of the season. I think it's become less and less of a problem now. So that's promising, but it did feel like 2 points drops. But if you think about it now, you sit back and look at it, I think I'd have taken a draw before, and yeah, we'll take it. Take it and move on.
Yeah, I think I agree with you. Time to move on from that a little bit. But at the same time, as you say, we didn't create a lot, but it's just so gutting when you can see the last minute goal, especially against one of these big boys. You've held on for so long, we played so well and stuck to your game plan. And I think if there was only one player you didn't want the ball to fall to in stoppage time, and it was Eden Hazard. Unfortunately, it landed at his feet, and he put away a fantastic shot, and obviously got Chelsea a point.
But to be fair though, like if anyone could have scored that goal, I do really like Hazard. I think of the players I've seen this season, like the first season in a while, we've been watching Premier League football every week, me and you. I think you probably agree he's definitely up there with it. He's just moves differently, doesn't he? It's like he's like that next level of footballer.
I thought that at Christmas when we played Liverpool, the way Salah was moving and stuff like that. Yeah. Obviously, he's not been at the top level the last few weeks or so, but at the time when he was scoring the goals and we played him in Christmas, just the way he moves the ball around, the way the whole Liverpool team moved the ball around was fantastic. But yeah, you can see the difference in quality, and that's why it's such a great season for Wolves to be up there. But now, Finn, league form at times goes out the window in the FA Cup, but we come up against one of the in-form sides in the world, not just in England, in Manchester United. Since getting rid of Jose Mourinho, one of his last games was up against Wolves in the league when we got that 1-1 draw against them, and then we play it up against them now in the FA Cup at Molineux, under the lights, sold out crowd on BBC One. Finn, we started with Chelsea last week. Let's start on Manchester United this week. United, how good have they been recently?
Yeah, it pains me to say it. I mean, it was so fun going down there to Old Trafford early on in the season and comfortably getting a draw, you could argue. They're one of the teams that I really don't like. I think it's a common thing. If you don't support Man United, I think especially in like the years that we've grown up, they've always been up there at school with us being Wolves fans. And obviously it's a bit cooler to be a Wolves fan nowadays, but you always had the Man United fans there. They're winning everything. And it's nice to nearly be at that level. Obviously, they are on a crazy run of form at the moment. I mean, it's their only domestic loss, wasn't it, their last game? So that is a positive almost. Obviously, PSG did very, very well at Old Trafford, but then you saw how they overturned that one. It is it feels just like old United. It's the closest thing since Sir Alex left to Sir Alex's United, and I think there might be a little bit of conversation going on there between Solskjaer and Ferguson. Just maybe what he would do, almost like mentoring him, and it's great for them. If you're taking the gold tinted glasses off, then it is great for them what they're doing. It must be amazing to be a Man United fan at the moment, but I know it's biased, but I can still see a way of beating them. You look at some of the games, I remember at the start, everyone was sort of going, oh, Man United have won again, but I think it was only Newcastle, then it was only Reading, and then I think they beat Tottenham, and everyone goes, all right, hang on, they might actually be all right here. But I watched that Tottenham game, and they were very, very lucky. Pochettino said it's the best he's ever seen his Tottenham team play, but De Gea had an absolute worldie, which is something, hopefully, on Saturday that will not be happening. I think, do they go Romero in goal anyway in the Cup? So
yeah,
maybe
I think
that
Romero might be in that, yeah.
That's promising, but yeah, it's weird because I'm trying to pick out the positives because realistically, they could very easily come here and beat us, but you think they drew against Burnley, you think Arsenal dispatched of them, PSG, obviously they're on another level, but beat them. Wolves fancy themselves against the big teams, and I am convincing myself into a win, but on the face of it, the amount of attacking just talent they've got, you didn't realise it when Mourinho was there because he didn't let them flourish, but you look and you think, if Martial, Rashford and Lukaku aren't playing, there's Lingard, Mata, Pogba. They just seem to have crazy strength in depth there. They've got Chung coming through, Mason Greenwood as well, who may very well feature on Saturday, and they're all scary players to come up against. I think Wolves pride themselves on our defence, just like we did on Saturday. So another one of those would be beautiful at the weekend. If we could pass this weekend, then we might be all right. But I think they'll score. I think, as you lot were saying on the 77 Club podcast, I think they'll score. We're going to need a few goals if we're going to win it. But the one criticism you would have of Man United since Solskjaer's, well, the whole season really, the main one has been the defence. Obviously, Mourinho moaned about it loads, and obviously no players have been allowed to come in. Obviously, they've been a lot more solid since, and Lindelof seems to have really come into his own. But if we can get at them, and it's the best strike force I've seen in years at Wolves, Jimenez and Jota. So if I was confident, I'm very, very confident for them to score, but I think hopefully, for the neutrals' perspective, it will be a high-scoring game anyway. That was a very long monologue, sorry, but yeah, I'm just so passionately want to win. It's going to be the best or the worst night ever Saturday.
Well, I've got a lot of family abroad that support Manchester United, which it's not like I don't like them. To be fair, they're one of my favourable teams, so it's always funny when we have a conversation about United because you passionately dislike them. So
I despise. I can't.
But yeah, I know. For United, they've got a few players out injured. I know Lingard's definitely out. Martial and Mata may be back in. This could be their comeback game. But as you say, they've got some scary players going forward. Lukaku starting to hit form now. Rashford not been so good the last couple of games, but prior to that, have been fantastic form. Obviously, if Martial does come back in, Pogba as well, since Solskjaer's come in, has been fantastic. So as you say, it's going to be an extremely interesting game. Both teams like to counter-attack, so it'll be interesting to see who tries to get a hold of the game earlier than one another. I think the main issue for Wolves on Sunday is just they didn't have enough of the ball, so hopefully we can have more of the ball on Saturday. Just make United run around a little bit more. But I've seen a few rumours maybe of Greenwood starting and so on. So, I mean, if United do start a few younger players, may give Wolves an advantage. If these players that have just come back from injury are coming in, they've still got a bit of fatigue, less match sharpness, that could work in Wolves' favour. But there's so many, Manchester United are, at the top. They're still up top with the turns of players. We saw that against PSG, the way they didn't as such dominate the game, but they stopped PSG from creating chances and took that chance. Very small opportunity of them winning that penalty late on, and they got it and took it. And they're one of the 4 English Premier League teams left in the Champions League, which is still a crazy thing to say as well. But moving on from Manchester United, we'll move on to Wolves now, Finn. We normally say the team almost picked itself, but now I suppose Nuno's got a couple of decisions to make. This time last week we were talking about who was going to go in at centre-back. Was it going to be Saïss Dendoncker or even a long shot at Max Kilman? Now for Saturday, is it going to be Saïss or Bennett? Saïss had such a good game against Chelsea. Is he going to be allowed to keep his place at the back, or has Bennett walked straight back into the team?
Yeah, that's the big one, isn't it? I think everywhere else, you pretty much... I mean, there's one sort of curveball where you could say Neves didn't have a great game, go for midfield three of Dendoncker, Sayson, Matinho or Morgan Gibbs-White. I mean, I don't think he will. But that is a curveball in there. You could still fit them both in at the expense of someone like Neves or Matinho. But yeah, I remember the game when Bennett got booked and arguably should have got booked again, but that's another story. I was thinking, oh no, he's going to be out, because I think the first game Sace went in at centre back. It was actually when me and you were at Cardiff away, and he actually did all right. But I much prefer him in midfield. But the performance of the weekend was brilliant, and the whole back three were brilliant. I just can't help feel that. I mean, they're both hotheads, aren't they? I've seen Bennett snap people so many times, and Sace has been a walking yellow card. I think he's calmed it down this season a bit, but I remember last season, if you had a bet on Sace to get booked every game, I think you'd have made a lot of money. So for me, I mean, I don't like change, so I might just stick Ben in there to feel more comfortable. But Sace will be very unlucky if he's not either in midfield or defence at the weekend, because I can't remember the last game he had a bad game, and that's been in several positions.
Yeah, I agree with that, and I think Sace was very solid at Chelsea. Obviously, you listened to the 77 Club podcast. There was another Wolves podcast that I was on yesterday, and it's split opinions a little bit. I think the two of the lads were just sort of adamant that Bennett should come straight back in, didn't they? But I do agree that Sace had a good game, but there was a lot of criticism for Ryan Bennett on Sunday, even when he didn't play, which was a little bit weird. But I think I said it on that podcast as well. I think this time last season, when we were gearing up for the Premier League, I think everyone was adamant that out of the back three, Wooly Bolly was a definite, Connor Cody maybe, but we all expected Ryan Bennett to not be a part of the Wolves' first 11 this seain. And he's come into the Premier League, and he's not been bad, has he? I'm not saying he's been exceptional, because there were games where he has been exceptional, but there's games where he's been a little bit poor. But yeah, he's definitely had a good season. So to put tweets and stuff out like that is unneeded. But
yeah,
it's definitely a decision for Nuno to make, and it'll be interesting to see if he's sort of thinking, right, Bennett's good enough, we'll put him in to keep Romain fresh for Burnley, or if he's going to think, right, we'll put Romain in to keep the momentum going, and maybe
one of the arguments for Bennett as well. Sorry to interrupt, right. But I think this season he's probably played his best games against the top six, because I mean, I think one of the things is he hasn't had to be playing the ball as much. I think when we've been playing teams down the bottom, we've got to break people down, and he just smashes it out for a throw-in. I particularly remember Arsenal away, he was brilliant. It seems to be the games where he's got to focus more on defending than that sort of ball-playing centre-back bit. So whether that's in his favour, I don't know. But as you say, Man United like to counter-attack as well. It might just be us both sat in our own halves and almost like a game of chess. So maybe it does favour him in that sense. But yeah, I suppose Sace went in against a big team at the weekend. There's so many arguments there. Yeah, that's why Nuno gets paid to make the decision.
I was going to say we could sit here discussing it until Saturday, and we still probably wouldn't make our mind up. But in terms of the rest of the team, we know almost for a fact that John Ruddy is going to come in for Patricio, who, let me say, was good on Sunday. He had some decent distribution as well for a change. But the rest of the team, can you see it matching that team that started on Sunday? If we ignore the goalkeeper, ignore that right centre-back, the rest of the team stick the same as the side that started at Stamford Bridge?
Yeah, I think so. I think if we go down a goal early on, maybe one of the big half-time switches, maybe Vinagre in there. I didn't think Johnny had a particularly good game against Chelsea. Again, good at defending, but you felt like, almost like when I'm out on a football pitch, like, don't pass to me, because every time he got the ball, he seemed to lose it, and it almost like he wasn't an option. So I think definitely start Johnny and Doherty as the wing backs, no question. It's not going to be a Vinagre and Trey. I will be very, very shocked if it's a Vinagre and Trey.
Saying that though, I actually wouldn't be overly. I fully expect Doherty to play, but I wouldn't be fully shocked to see Vinagre play. Yeah, I wouldn't be fully surprised, but I think Johnny will start. But I wouldn't be surprised if Vinagre got slotted in. Yeah,
and as for the rest of the team, your Jimenez and Jota are basically secured
themselves, don't they?
Then it's the midfield three. If we're saying Bennett's at the back, you've then got arguably five to pick from, haven't you? You've got Neves, Matinho, Sace, Dendoncker and Morgan Gibbs-White. And for me, three of those, the Sace one's hard because you don't know whether he's going to be at centre back, but
the thing is,
probably I would stick with the three.
Sace hasn't really put a foot wrong all season, has
No,
he? Like, when
yeah.
he's had the opportunity, he's been okay, hasn't he?
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, it's a really hard one.
which is hard as well because this time last season, I'm bringing it up again. Obviously, you had Ndai in the equation, but Sace and Neves were just almost undroppable, weren't they? Those two together worked so well. And obviously, his playing time has been a little bit more limited this season, but yeah, I think he's been okay, hasn't he? So
Yeah, definitely.
let us know your thoughts in the comment section for team selection, because I think the main position that is going to be, as it was last week as well, is going to be that right centre back. Some of you may be thinking, what? Sace? Obviously Bennett's going to walk straight back in, but you never know. We'll see your thoughts on that. We're going to move on to score predictions now. Of course, on Twitter every Thursday morning, normally if we're playing on a Saturday, we post on Twitter to get your score predictions. So we've got a few here. So Jay Baines thinks it's going to be 1-0, Jota to score, so he's backing us to keep a clean sheet there. Paul Nichols has gone quite obscure, 2-2 after 90 minutes, and then Wolves to win 5-3 on penalties.
Get your money on it.
Our partner's fan bet actually gave him odds to win 5-3 on penalties as well, which is pretty crazy.
What are we talking?
Let's have a quick look. Let's see if it's on there. 5-3 on penalties. So the odds on it are 30-1 for Wolves to win 5-3 on penalties.
Wolves to win on penalties should be 30-1. Never mind.
That's a bit short,
5-3.
Anyway, Liam Bagnall says 2-1 Wolves. Doherty to score in extra time. Scenes. Play Wolves, put 2-1 Wolves, come from behind to win it late. Danny Rosamond said 2-1 Wolves. Lukaku to score first. Molineux Mattis said 2-1 Wolves. Donna Cattle said 2-1 Wolves. Rob Coster said 2-1 Wolves. Rob Heater said 2-1 Wolves. White Wolf said 2-1 Wolves. Richard Pumphrey said we could take these guys out. Wolves to win 2-1. Amari Carlin said 2-1 Wolves. 92nd minute winner. I mean, if any of these people were betting, man, I think Wolves fans would be all millionaires. But Finn, I'm going to say my prediction. I'm also going to go 2-1 Wolves.
Oh. Why not? No, I'm joking. I was, to be fair, before you said that, I was thinking 2-1 Wolves, but I've got to go different. It's really hard. It's whether it's that almost game of chess, who puts it to who, or who sort of goes for it first. I've got to be confident. I'll say I like the sound of that 2-2 extra time.
Yeah.
And then
Wolves to win on penalties.
I don't back us on penalties, so we've got as in 2-2 90 minutes, and then 3-2 end of extra time, because Wolves players will know after Jimenez has put his penalty away. No, yeah, and to be fair, getting the vlog out for Sunday morning as well, that'd be a hard turnaround with extra time and penalties. But yeah, I'll say 3-2 after extra time.
3-2.
Just to be different.
Of course, we've got VAR as well at Molineux on Saturday, so I don't think I've ever seen that in a Wolves game, like be used. So it'll be interesting to see if that's used. Big Roger
that was
Easter's
Man United's
official.
friend.
Yeah, big Roger Easter's fourth official as well, so it'll be interesting to see how that goes. But guys, let us know your thoughts in the comment section down below. As I say, your support on the channel has been fantastic over the last few weeks or so keep that up. Smash the like button, subscribe to the channel if you're new. Enjoy the game, and hopefully the next time you see us, Wolves are going to be FA Cup semi-finalists. See you later, guys.